Konnichiwa! When our babies are first born, we are obsessed with hitting every stage on the physical development chart. Is he going to roll over by 5 months? Is he going to walk by one? We just want our babies to be healthy. But after the first birthday, I talked to a lot of moms who are just not sure what to be doing with their babies anymore. The first 5 years are very important. Today, let's discuss what are on the educational development charts and how we can be reaching those in both of our languages. On the mom forums, there's this meme that goes around that talks about how mothers are not just moms. They don't just have one job. They have a lot of jobs. They're accountants, they're doctors, nurses, they're psychiatrists. So today, I want to talk about one more job that a mother has. It's a really important one and sometimes tends to get overlooked. It's the role of teacher. I like to run my household with the mentality that school is a review. This will not be the first time that you're seeing these new topics when the teacher talks about it. She might go more in depth, but you will have like a certain readiness and you will already be familiar with these topics, right? So some of you might have seen the video of Jason on Facebook doing math drills. Yes, he's doing addition at 4. We're just trying to already instill a love of math in him. It's not hard when you get to math class. It's natural, it's normal. We do this all the time with mom. So, all right, I'm just going to jump right in, list what the educational development standards are, and then we'll talk about how I have fun reaching them with my children. What are the educational development standards? Know ABCs, letter recognition. That's capital letters and lowercase letters. Say numbers. Recognize 1 through 10. Count objects. Know and identify colors. Patterns. Identify big, bigger, biggest. Know, identify body parts. Use pencils, crayons, markers, glue, paintbrushes, and scissors. Listen to story, recognize sight words. Sing songs, dance, socialize with children, and play and share with others. Language doesn't just come from nowhere. As soon as babies are born, they are constantly absorbing sounds. They're taking it all in when we're talking to them, when we're talking to other people, when we're on the phone. They are listening, always. So I say all that to say this. You should be singing the alphabet daily in both languages with your baby, your toddler, your child. You should be talking about birthdays, colors, shapes, numbers, just in your regular routine in your daily life. So let's dive in on that. How? Let's take a look at this chart. My preschool goes. I can write my name, I know my colors, I know all the letter names, I can listen to a story, tell what it's about, I can segment words, I can count to 20, I know my birthday, I can complete a pattern. This is what a standard 3-year-old should know. So with your 1-year-old, when you go to the grocery store, utilize this. When you're waiting for your food at a restaurant, utilize this. You should just always be utilizing this in your daily life, daily conversations. That way, when it's time to go to school, it's time to do schoolwork, it's just a natural part of their day. It's not something new. It's not like, what are you trying to get me to do? No, it's just natural. Me and mommy do this all the time. It's so easy. Also, each child has a different learning style as well as their best learning time. So find out what both of those are for your children and put that to use in your favor. So at my house, my kids, their best learning time is in the morning. When we first wake up, I just go in their room, I sing the good morning song, and I set up the grammar and vocab that we're going to be working on that day. So I'll give you an example. So I go in their room, sing the good morning song in both languages, English and Japanese, And then I will read our morning stories. We read 2 stories every morning in the second language every day. Yes. Then after that, I might take out some scarves and I'll throw them in the, and scream really loud what the colors are, red, blue, orange, purple, but in our second language. And then the kids will be so surprised. Yeah, just surprise them, and they'll just automatically just join in. They'll start screaming the colors and throwing the scarves. And then I'll quietly whisper and I'll grab the scarves and line them up, red, red, blue, yellow, and then they'll do the same. And then we'll count them as we throw them the next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just have a really good time playing with the scarves. But look at this. You've already worked on colors, numbers, patterns, and so much more. You've used grammar because you probably said pick it up, let's line it up. You're talking to them, you're engaging with them, and you've already covered so many things on that chart. And then we go have breakfast. I just take that chart, the preschool or the kindergarten learning chart, and I just work it into our everyday daily routine in both languages. Basically, every day I just ask myself, did they learn something new? Did they get exercise, do an activity? And if they did, then great. You're doing a great job, Mom. It is a really good gauge that I use for my family. It really depends on what your personal language goals for your family is. And we'll talk next week more about setting goals. But try to use like mirroring. So if Jason can say something in one language, then I'll know to try to add it in the other language. For example, Jason picked up the phrase "hanto ni" in Japanese. They use it all the time. So I decided to add "really" into our English vocabulary during the day. Now, both words are used a little differently in both languages, but as long as you use it in the correct context when you're talking in Japanese or in English, that part's easy for the kids to pick up. And they realize when it's appropriate to use, sarcasm, all that things, they just pick that up naturally. The best time to teach them something new is when they're interested in it. So for example, do they try to point at shapes and say their names? Then start teaching them more shapes. Do they point to shirts, their own or yours, and try to guess the color? Then start to teach them colors. If they're, scribbling and they're trying to write a letter but you can't understand it, then that's a great time to get some tracing books and start working on tracing. So it's that easy. We want to keep it fun. We want to keep them engaged, and we want to work on what they're interested in. A last tip I wanted to leave you guys with. While I'm not too keen on giving my kids sugar, not very often, but when I do know that I'm already going to give them a lollipop or a cookie for dessert with dinner or something like this, I'll just ask Jason a quick question. Just one, not too deep, like, hey Jason, what's 2 plus 2? He quickly says 4. I chuck over the lollipop and give him the cookie, and that's that. Alright, so this is why I say you do not have to be fluent to teach your child a second language. All you have to do is keep advancing. Keep adding new phrases every week. Keep adding vocabulary. Keep working on that grammar. And think long game. By the time your kid is in elementary school, you will both be having conversations. Yes. Keep it simple. Keep it fun. Keep it focused. All right, that's my 2 cents for the week. Johnny. O P Q R S T U U V W
ジュニパー、お前じゃ若すぎるし演技の経験もないじゃないか。
X
No.
X
W.
X
X.
映画の制作自体を危うくさせ、俳優や撮影スタッフを危険にさらした。
Y
お前は私の信頼を利用して私に嘘をついた。
Z
誰も傷つける気はなかったの。チェストナットがやめた。
おーイエーイジェイソン全文書いた